The paint on your car is chipped. There's a dent in the back bumper. It's been there for 3 years and you still haven't fixed it. You pull into the parking lot at 8:12 a.m. Same spot. Same Toyota. Someone from the new hiring class watches you get out and looks away fast, like she's embarrassed for you. She has no idea. She doesn't know about the $4,700,000 sitting in index funds under your name. She doesn't know the house is paid off. She doesn't know you could quit today and never work again. Nobody knows. That's the point. That's always been the point. Here are the 9 things you do that nobody sees. Lunch is at 12:30. Same diner, same booth by the window. You've still got a little mustard on your thumb from the sandwich, and you wipe it on the napkin without really noticing. Someone at the table mentions a repair bill, $1,100 for a transmission. Their voice goes up half an octave when they say the number, like it's a confession. Then they turn to you, ask what you paid for your kitchen renovation last spring. About $18,000, you say, flat. Same tone you'd use to tell someone the weather. The table goes quiet for a second, not because the number is huge, because of how you said it. No wince, no bracing, no little laugh to soften it. Someone asks if that felt like a lot. You think about it for a second. Then you say, no, not really, it needed doing. And you go back to your sandwich. For most people, money carries weight before the sentence even finishes. It shows up in the shoulders, in the pause before the number comes out. People either shrink the number to seem relatable or puff it up to seem impressive. Either way, it's a performance. For you, the performance stopped a long time ago. You stopped feeling the number and started reading it, like a spec sheet. Does this expense match what I already decided matters? Is this worth what it costs? There's a woman 2 booths over, you've never spoken to. She's telling her friend about a purse she wants, already explaining why it's okay, already defending a purchase she hasn't made yet. You used to do that. You don't remember when you stopped. Money stopped being a feeling. It became a specification. You pay the check. Nobody at the table saw $18,000. They saw a guy who didn't flinch. The wiper blade on the driver's side has a squeak. Left corner, every 3rd pass. You've heard it for 2 years now. You could get it fixed in 10 minutes at the dealership. You just haven't. It's not laziness. You know exactly what it costs to fix. You just haven't decided it's worth the trip yet. The car is a 2011. Cloth seats. No sunroof. 140,000 miles on it, and every one of those miles was already driven by someone else before you bought it used. You still use the same key you got with it. The metal worn smooth on one edge from your thumb. You paid $12,000 cash. No loan. No dealership financing rep trying to upsell you an extended warranty in a back office with bad lighting. Your neighbor leases a new one every 3 years. $640 a month. He mentioned it once, kind of proud, like the payment itself was the achievement. You didn't say anything. You just did the math in your head the way you always do. $640 a month, invested instead, at 8%, for 30 years. Comes out to something close to $900,000. He's not wrong that his car looks better in the driveway. He's just solving a different problem than you are. You know the depreciation curve on a new vehicle. 20% gone the moment it leaves the lot. You let someone else eat that loss. You bought the car after the steepest part of the fall had already happened. People assume the beat-up car means something's wrong. Tight month? Bad year? Maybe worse. Nobody assumes the car is a decision, not a limitation. You're not attached to the car. It starts every morning. It gets you where you're going. That's the whole job description, and it's done that job for 11 years without complaint. The squeak is still there. Left corner, every 3rd pass. You'll get it fixed eventually. Just not today. The envelope from your accountant sits on the kitchen counter for 2 days before you open it. You almost forget it's there under a stack of mail, wedged behind the toaster. Nothing exciting about it. Just a bill. $2,200 for the year. You pay it without checking anything twice. Compare that to your cousin, who just spent $4,000 on a watch he posted about within the hour. 42 likes. A comment from someone he hasn't talked to since high school. Nobody's gonna post a picture of an accountant's invoice. But the $2,200 found $9,000 in deductions you didn't know you qualified for. The money just quietly stays where it is instead of leaving. You've got umbrella insurance most people have never heard of. $400 a year, existing for exactly one purpose. So a single bad afternoon, someone slipping on your driveway, doesn't undo 15 years of decisions made correctly. You hope you never use it. That's kind of the point of it. Your financial advisor charges a flat fee, not a percentage of what you have. You interviewed 3 before you picked her. Asked about her incentive structure before you asked about her returns. Most people never ask that question. There's a version of you from a decade ago who thought all of this sounded like overkill. That version of you was wrong, and you didn't find out until later, quietly, the way you find out most things now. None of this looks like anything from the outside. They see the 11-year-old car, they see the flat tone at lunch. And now this. Another line item that produces nothing anyone can photograph. Your cousin's watch will still tell time in 5 years. It won't have made him a single dollar. Your accountant's bill already has. Saturday morning, you're standing in the aisle at Target holding 2 pairs of jeans. Same style, different brand. One's $81, the other's $79. You've been standing there for 6 minutes. Your coffee's already gone cold in the cup holder out in the car. It's not about the $2, it's about which one actually holds up. Which one's stitching survives 100 washes instead of 40. You read the material tags. You think about the last pair you owned like this and how long they lasted. 6 minutes for a pair of jeans. Then, 3 weeks later, your contractor tells you the roof needs replacing. $18,000. Full tear-off, new decking, the whole thing. You ask 2 questions. When can you start? And is there anything I'm missing? Then you write the check. No 6 minutes this time, no pacing around the kitchen, no sleeping on it for a week. The jeans decision was never really about the jeans. It's a rep. A small one, but it's the same muscle you use on everything. Keeping an accurate sense of what things are actually worth, so the small stuff never quietly piles up into something big while you weren't looking. The roof decision runs on a different rule entirely. Once something's confirmed as a real need, the cost of waiting is almost always worse than the cost of the fix. A delayed roof repair doesn't stay an $18,000 problem. It becomes water damage, mold behind the drywall, $40,000 in 9 months. Your neighbor handles it backwards. He agonizes over big things and grabs the first candle he sees at checkout. $90 later, he's still not sure the water heater's actually broken or just old. You don't lose sleep over the roof. You lost your sleep on cheaper stuff a long time ago and got good at it, so the big stuff wouldn't cost you anything except the money. Most people only ever get good at one of the two. There's a pair of noise-canceling headphones sitting in your cart right now. $280. You added them 9 days ago. You haven't bought them yet. Not because you can't. You just have a rule, and the rule doesn't care how badly you want something at 9 o'clock on a random Tuesday. Small stuff, under a couple $100, waits 24 hours. Medium stuff waits 7 days. Anything big enough to actually move the needle waits 30. Not 30 days of white-knuckling it. 30 days of just living. Letting the wanting sit there and seeing if it's still standing at the end. Most of it isn't. There was a jacket back in March, really wanted it, the kind of want that feels urgent at the time. You put it on the list instead of the card. 3 weeks later, you didn't even remember the color. Wanting has an expiration date. Most people just never wait long enough to watch it expire. None of these habits requires $4 million, by the way. They worked exactly the same when your balance had 4 figures instead of 7. The rule doesn't check your net worth before it applies. The retail world is built to close that gap as fast as possible. One-click checkout. Saved cards. Every part of it is engineered so you never sit with a want long enough to question it. You broke that a while back. Not with willpower exactly. Willpower runs out. This is just a rule you follow automatically now. Your brother-in-law bought a boat 2 summers ago. The same night, he saw it. It's been in the driveway more than it's been in the water. You don't say anything when he brings it up. You just think about the headphones, still sitting in your cart, still unbought, and how strange it is that patience doesn't feel like restraint anymore. It just feels like how you make decisions. The bonus hits your account on a Thursday, $11,000 after tax. By Friday morning, $5,500 of it is already gone. Not spent. Moved. Straight into the brokerage account before you even had breakfast. You set that rule up years ago. Half of anything extra, gone before you can get used to seeing it. The other half you actually get to enjoy, guilt-free, because you already decided in advance what you were keeping. Your coworker got the same bonus. Same day. Same $11,000. By the following week, he'd put a deposit down on a truck. Not because he needed one, his old one ran fine. But the number in his account went up, and something in him needed the number going out to match it. Think of income like pressure in a pipe. Most people, the second the pressure goes up, widen the pipe to match it. New apartment. Nicer car. Dinners out that used to be occasional, and now happen every week without anyone deciding they should. 6 months later, the income's higher, and somehow there's less left over than before. You do the opposite. Pressure goes up, the pipe stays the same width. The extra just pools. It's not that you don't want the truck version of that money. You've thought about it. It's that you already decided, a long time ago, what your money is actually for, and a truck you don't need was never on that list. Your friend group used to be pretty even, financially. It all started around the same place. You can feel the gap now, even though nobody said a word about it. It's what people order without checking the price. You still order the same thing you always ordered. You just never needed the upgrade to feel like it meant something. There's a version of this year where you bought the truck too. You'd have felt richer for about a month. Instead, the $5,500 just left before you noticed it was there. And somehow that felt like more. Your CPA calls in March. Says there's a way to restructure something on the return that'll take him about 2 hours to set up properly. You tell him to do it. Don't ask what it costs. It ends up saving you close to 10 hours of your own time every year. Going forward, plus a chunk of money on top of that. You never would have found the 10 hours. You would have just lost them, quietly, the way most people lose hours they never notice going. The groceries get picked up now instead of being shopped for. $6 a trip. Someone else walks the aisles, someone else stands in the checkout line, and you pull into the lot and pop the trunk, and you're back on the road in 4 minutes. Your brother still does the full shop himself, says pickup fees are a waste of money. He's not wrong about the $6, he's just not counting the 50 minutes. The lawn guy comes on Thursdays. $90 a month. You used to do it yourself, and there was something almost nice about it, sweating in the yard on a Saturday. But that was 2 hours a week you don't get back, and at some point, the math stopped being close. Same with the handyman. The garbage disposal jammed last month, and you could have watched a video and fixed it yourself for the cost of a part. Instead, you called a guy. He was there in a day, gone in 20 minutes, and you spent that hour doing nothing literally. Just sitting on the porch. That was kind of the whole point. None of this is about being incapable. You know how to do all of it. You just stop pretending your hours were free. There was a version of you, years back, who drove 40 minutes out of the way for gas that was 6 cents cheaper. That version wasn't wrong, he just didn't have the thing. Yet that makes this math flip. The question stopped being, can I afford this? It became, what does this buy back? Nobody sees the 10 hours the CPA gave you. Nobody sees the 50 minutes at the grocery store, or the Saturday afternoon that you stayed home instead of going to the lawn. That part's just for you. Tuesday morning, the market opens down 3%. By lunch, it's down 6%. Your phone buzzes 4 times in an hour. Group chat. Someone's using a lot of exclamation points. You glance at it once, then you put the phone face down on the counter and start chopping onions for dinner. Knife against the cutting board, steady, the same rhythm as any other Tuesday. 40 minutes go by, and you don't think about the market once. Your portfolio's down about $41,000 on paper. You already know that roughly before you even check. You just don't check. Your coworker, the one with the truck, calls that night. Voice a little too fast. Asks if you're pulling your money out. Says his brother-in-law thinks this is the start of something bad. You tell him you're not doing anything. He doesn't really hear that as an answer. He wants a plan. You don't have one to give him because the plan already happened years ago, before any of this started. You've seen this before. Not this exact drop, but the shape of it. The friend who sells at the bottom and buys back in 8 months later, higher than where he started, having turned a paper loss into a real one just by getting scared at the wrong moment. You're not smarter than him. You just decided a long time ago that you weren't investing for Tuesday. You were investing for a version of yourself 20 years out, and that version doesn't care what the chart looked like on any single afternoon. Thursday, the market's still down. You move $400 into the account anyway, same as every month, same day it always happens. By the following month, most of it's back. Not because you predicted anything, because you didn't do the thing that turns a dip into a loss. Your coworker's still checking his account every morning. You used to check yours that often too. You don't remember exactly when you stopped. Your neighbor pulls into his driveway with a new SUV on a Saturday afternoon, sticker still half peeled off the back window. He's out there for 20 minutes, just looking at it. You watch from your kitchen window for maybe 4 seconds, then you go back to loading the dishwasher. There was a version of you, a long time ago, who would have felt something looking at that. A little tug, a small voice doing math it had no business doing. Not this year. Not for a while now, actually. It's not that you don't notice things anymore. You noticed the SUV, you just didn't feel anything attached to the noticing. It's his car. It has nothing to do with your Saturday. You've probably seen how it spreads before. One neighbor upgrades, then another one does, a few months later, almost like they caught something. Before long, the whole street's driveways look different from what they did 2 years ago. And nobody ever quite says why. You used to be in that current. Everyone starts there. Here's the part that's harder to say out loud, even to yourself. Getting out of that current cost you something, not money. You don't talk about any of this at family dinners anymore, not really. The second you mention what things actually cost, or what your accounts actually hold, the whole shape of the conversation changes. People start doing math about you instead of just talking to you. So you don't bring it up. Your sister still thinks the roof repair was a stretch for you last year. You let her think that. It's easier than the alternative, and you're not entirely sure the alternative would be worth it. That's the quiet part of all of this that nobody puts in the headlines. The freedom is real. So is the distance it puts between you and almost everyone who knew you before. You have your own definition of a rich life now. It doesn't need a witness to be true. Your neighbor's still out there with the SUV, checking the paint under the porch light. You finish the dishes, turn off the kitchen light, head up. Somewhere between the 11-year-old car and this exact moment, his new number stopped being information about you at all. Monday morning again. Same spot, same Toyota. The wiper still squeaks on the left corner, third pass every time. The new hire from the parking lot is by the elevator when you walk in. She's got a coffee in one hand and her badge in the other, still figuring out which door needs it. She glances at you. Then, without really meaning to, she glances back out the window at the lot. At your car. You catch the look before she catches herself giving it. You recognize the look. You had one just like it once, about someone else, in a different parking lot, a long time ago. She doesn't know about the $4,700,000. She doesn't know the house has been paid off for 6 years. She doesn't know you could walk out that door right now and never come back. And nothing about your Tuesday would change. She just sees a dent that's been there for 3 years and a guy who never got around to fixing it. You don't correct her. You never do. You just say good morning, head to your desk, and let her keep believing whatever the car told her. The wiper's still gonna squeak tomorrow. You still won't fix it. Some things just aren't worth the trip.